What comes first, hip turn or arm swing? I'm going to show you why these two have got it wrong. Transition has been one of the most talked about parts of the golf swing for a long, long time. On a regular basis, I get asked, what starts first? Is it the hip turn or is it the arm swing? Now, my opening gambit was Rory and Dustin have got it wrong. Well, got it wrong might be stretching it a little bit, seeing as they're a couple of the best players in the world. But let's refer, first of all, to Dustin Johnson's golf swing. And Dustin is probably the golfer that brought on everyone's awareness. Holy moly, you can play golf with a strong grip. As opposed to Rory, who looks like he's got a strong grip, but the grip is very much in a different part of his hand. We see Rory's grip more palm to the golf club, and we tend to see Dustin's grip more creased in the left wrist. So two very different placements of strong grips. The reason why I'm referencing these two people is because they are two golfers that are prominent in the world of golf that start their downswing in very different ways. We've all been sold the story that in delivery and on the way down, we need a right elbow tucked in front of our body. I'm not going to go into whether the handle should be pushed out or pushed in or pushed forwards just yet. But we have been sold that this right elbow needs to be in front of our body to strike the ball well and to strike the ball and hit it straight. Now, if we look at Dustin Johnson's downswing, in transition, as he starts down, the right elbow is very much in front of his chest. If we look at Rory's downswing, he gets this raised right shoulder, he gets this tucked in right elbow, and for my money, this has everything to do with the handle track of his golf club through strike. If we look at Dustin Johnson's handle track through strike, we see the handle moving to the left. When we look at Rory's handle track on the way through, we see the handle track along the line. Now, we've got two different golf swings, one's with a driver and one is with an iron, and I can assure you that matters very, very little. What I want to refer to, and the reason why I brought those two golfers into the fore, as I said, they both move through the ball differently, but they start their downswing differently as well. So in yesteryear, we all thought that if we turn our hips quickly, we get the opportunity to shallow the golf club out. That is absolute garbage. It does not work that way. We may have data to support that, but I'll have data to support completely the opposite. Because if we're looking at transition and in isolation, we will lose the whole understanding of why transitions are very different with different golfers. You can appreciate that if in the downswing, Dustin's forearm gets more in front of his chest, his handle is fundamentally traveling faster than his rotation. It has to be. If I'm turning my body and my arm is back here, this hand has less speed in it. This is quite simple. I move my body quick, I leave my hand alone, my hand stays back. I then tie some weight to it, the golf club. You can see, therefore, that in downswing, we would tend to see the arm lag behind. Now, for Rory, that in my opinion, even though the grip looks strong, is weak because it's running through the palm of his hand, this gives him more time to square the club face up. And when you square the club face up with an excessive amount of lag behind with the arm and push out with the forearms, the lagging behind with the arm gives him time to get the club back and swing the head. Because if the handle with a weaker hold gets more in front of him, all of a sudden he would tend to start to hit the golf ball to the right. Now for Dustin, with the stronger hold, and added to that a bowing of left wrist, the right elbow being more in front of him, and this elongated motion with his arm through strike will help him fight off the club face angle. So when we think about how these two golfers are starting down, one, Dustin Johnson, is starting down with a greater pull of the arms because the handle has more speed. The handle gets pulled and outruns his chest in the downswing. The opposite for Rory is that there's more turn, arms left behind, more turn with the chest and more turn with the lower half. Out of the two golfers, I absolutely much prefer Dustin Johnson's pull with the handle. It makes the handle have more speed, and you can see through strike, it's got way more shaft lean because of the pull and the acceleration of the handle. If we then start to look at the track of the handle through strike, Rory gets a lot more of a longer push out to the right and unload. Dustin gets a lot more down and to the left. And don't be confused by the fact that, well, Dustin's hitting an iron and Rory's hitting a driver. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. You would see such a small differential between Dustin hitting a driver and Dustin's hand path with an iron. So in summary, I want to say a big thanks to my channel sponsor, GX Golf Gloves. These gloves are trusted by tour players and elite amateurs. Go check out GX Golf Gloves, enter in good coaching, and you'll receive 10% off your next glove order. Go check them out. Understanding what your bias needs to be relative to where the face will want to point due to, yes people, the grip. When was the last time you had a golf lesson and someone spent a significant amount of time showing you how to hold the club and proving why this must be? Whatever it may be, whether it's weakening it off or strengthening it, both can work. So understand that if you're a golfer that tends to leave the ball to the right, by feeling like you turn out the way, gives you the sensation that you can get the path a little bit more left and buy yourself a little bit more time to unload the club face. If you are someone that tends to hit the ball to the left, you're someone that must feel like you've got more handle speed in transition. More handle speed to give you the sensation that the handle can get past you a little bit more to fend off the face that's closed. Decent. Understanding that the motion of the wrist angle and how the handle works through strike is another topic that I am absolutely going to talk about when it comes to Rory and Dustin Johnson. But handle path is key, how it moves through the ball, but how we start our downswing, whether it's more pull-based or whether it's more hip rotation-based, will dictate itself by how the face is orientated in your hold, primarily. Because it's where the face will tend to want to point. And more of a turner out of the way, arms being left behind, will help you buy more time to square the face up. Someone that would want to pull the handle more would tend to get more shaft lean to fend off the closed face. In an ideal world, I would like to see a handle pull and an upright force through the left leg in transition, pull up at the same time, if you're in a position where you can feel like you can navigate the club through strike. So pick which one you want to work with, depending on where the face is orientated. And if you want to be in a nice area where the upper body and lower body start to work together, you need to make sure you hold it right. You make sure you need to unload it through strike in the right manner. And all that being said, you then should start hitting it much, much straighter with a lot more power. I think you'll find that's good coaching.